So it's an absolute privilege for me to welcome Adele to the team of presenters. This is her first presentation with us. She's done many more in business spheres for years, but this is her first one with us this evening. So we're going to hold her hand through it, be nice, and no, she doesn't need any of that. Phenomenally knowledgeable in what she's sharing as she forms a huge background support role, doing a lot of our material for us. So it's only natural that she's now transitioned to the front screen. So welcome, Adele. It's a privilege to have you here. So Adele's a mom. She's got a teenager son who's in his last year of school. In South Africa, we call it matric, an avid sportsman. And I follow her on Facebook, so we can always see that sports and her son is her huge value. And she spends a huge amount of time with him, uplifting him, educating, and I guess carting him all over the place to all his sports events. And this is, well, it's the final year. So there we go. So Adele is actually a qualified pediatric occupational therapist by profession. She's a community activist and is heavily involved in the community. She's got a huge passion for outdoors, creativity, spending time with friends and family. So her combination of her passion with community and outdoors and family really ties in so strongly to the ethos of Gift of Legacy. So you're going to hear from me shortly. I'm going to talk through the nuts and bolts. Adele's going to take you through the beginning stages of Gift of Legacy. I'm going to hand you over and you're going to hear from me shortly.
Thanks, Tim. Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be sharing my first Zoom presentation with you this evening. Tim is living my dream. This afternoon, I shared on the Telegram groups and on the WhatsApp groups an image that really resonated with me in early 2020 when I first dabbled with the online sphere. And it's a picture of a little VW Beetle, something that I'm very passionate about. It's got some suitcases on the top of it, and it says, my goal in life is to live a life that I don't need a vacation from. And I'm so jealous of Tim and his wife, because that's what they're doing. The first time I heard Tim speaking, I stopped doing everything because he just presents so beautifully. His voice is so easy on the ears and he just speaks so eloquently. And Tim, I really admire you for everything that you embody. You embody GL. Last night, Tim asked me to make a poster for the GL meeting in Cape Town that's happening tomorrow evening. And he said, well, choose an image that encompasses or embodies GL. And I thought, well, should I just put a picture of Tim on there? Because, you know, that's you, Tim. You embody GL. Tim is an amazing, amazing person. I haven't met him yet, and I hope to meet him very soon. But him and his lovely wife decided to pack up everything, all of their belongings, and buy a vehicle and start traveling around South Africa, because Tim decided after 27 years in the hospitality industry that in 2018, that's it, I'm done with my boss. I'm having far too much fun, earning money, making my own rules, and he fired his boss. And wouldn't we all love to do that? So that's what he did. And he's become a digital nomad. He travels around, working on the online sphere, and he has a passion for educating, for sharing his knowledge. I know he's shared so much information with me, and thanks, Tim, for all of that. Tim has always got golden nuggets that he shares with us, and it's not so much just about wealth. Tim is a philanthropist himself. He's really interested in health and wealth and being there for the community. So Gift of Legacy really falls within all of his principles as well. And Tim, I really do admire you as one of our leaders and mentors, and I'm deeply honored to be here this evening. So let's get straight into this.
All right, fantastic. I'm just going to pull up my screen. I'm going to be driving this evening. So there we go. You can see that?
I can see it perfectly. Thank you. Folks, this evening, some of you might be here for the very first time, and I just want to welcome you to our community. I'm not introducing a business or platform to you. I'm welcoming you into our homes, into our community, because that's what Gift of Legacy is about. We are not a business. We are a community of people. We are involved in a gifting activity that is creating abundance, and you are here by invitation only, because somebody who really cares about you wants to share this opportunity with you. So join us and let's find out how we can color your world. We just want to cover a disclaimer at first so that we get all of that underneath and we can carry on with the important information. So this presentation is for information sharing only and is not to be construed as financial advice. Neither Tim nor myself or any other Gift of Legacy presenter are financial advisors or tax advisors. The information that is given this evening is only intended to give you examples of what a participant may expect. So what is a gifting community? Now, I first heard about gifting communities last year in April, and I wasn't really sure what it was all about. But then I started thinking about it as I heard more about gifting communities. And it's like being in a birthday club. I'm sure maybe in your community or your family, even in your place of work, you have been involved in a birthday club where everybody gives money in and the person whose birthday is gets a wonderful gift that month. Well, Gift of Legacy is something like that, but on steroids. We are a gifting community and we have a unique algorithm that is driving the sustainable movements of gifts between the individuals. And that basically just means we've got an amazing developer and a programmer who allows us to work through the boards to send gifts between the people in our community. Now, in the last 2 years, there has been an economic paradigm shift. We all realize that a job is not secure. Even a health professional like myself, who has my own practice, realize that the carpet can be whipped out from underneath you. And if you don't have a plan B, or you do not have another stream of income, you can find yourself in a very difficult situation. So it's time for people and communities to stand together. We need to live, we need to thrive and not just merely survive. So let's talk gifting. So who is gifting communities for? Well, you've heard a little bit about Tim and his background and myself, and maybe you already connect with us. But if you believe in the principle of sowing and reaping, if you believe in giving and receiving, if you enjoy blessing somebody that you don't even know. I mean, I got to do that on the weekend. I connected with a lady in Venezuela and sent her a gift. It was the most beautiful interaction. And I know that we're going to keep in touch. And somebody I'd never met, I mean, Venezuela is not a country's name that comes to my mind quite easily. If you want to take control of your life, then you need to sit back and listen tonight. And I think we're all in that place right now. Whatever's happened in the past and definitely over the past 2 years, where are you and what control do you need to take back? And the most important thing for me in the helping profession is that this community allows me to help others while I succeed in life as well. And so everything about Gift of Legacy resonates with me. If it resonates with you, sit back, relax, and take in the information. Even if you don't remember it all, you can always come back and find out more later. So Gift of Legacy is a global gifting activity. There are no limitations or borders. You saw in the chat just now, we have people and participants in over 100 countries around the world, and it's growing. We are uplifting communities and we are uplifting ourselves. We are creating abundance and we are encouraging self-development. It's not just about the money in Gift of Legacy. It's what you learn to do. You see, Tim mentioned it just now. I've had almost a year to have the journey between my head and my heart, and for me to reach out of my comfort zone. I've been doing things that I'm comfortable with, but to get to a point where I can sit in front of you and present this beautiful community to you is the self-development journey that I've been on. And that is the beauty of Gift of Legacy. It's not just about the money. It's about the family and the friends that I've made within this community. So now we're going to talk sacred economics. And I must admit, the first time I heard that, I shifted a little bit in my seat and I was a little bit uncomfortable. I come from a medical model and I'd never heard that word. And I thought, what exactly is this all about? But it's actually just a simple term. Gifting has been used around the world for centuries. And in modern culture, it traces back to the 1960s. It's 100% legal, and it has been off the mainstream for decades. just like those birthday clubs that you've been part of. In South Africa, we talk about stokvels. People in communities have been standing together and helping each other for decades. We just didn't talk about it before. And even though we were wearing masks over the past 2 years, we had to look into each other's eyes and we had to connect with the community. And that's something that is a beautiful part of lockdown, that people are actually now talking. In Africa, we talk about the Ubuntu culture. And I've worked a lot in our rural communities and in our government hospitals. And Ubuntu is such an important part of our culture. It's all about people standing together and working together. In Gift of Legacy, we have blessed millions of people. We have given hope to people like myself. We have encourage people to get educated about simple things, whether it's being able to write a message in the chat on a Zoom call, or how to use PayPal or even cryptocurrency. There's a lot of education that our top leaders and presenters have provided for us, and we have shared abundance globally. We are redistributing wealth into the hands of many. I don't know about you, but I've had the conversation many times with my family and friends, and you sit and you think and you say, how do some people have so much wealth and others have so little? What are they doing? What are those people doing to get wealth? I mean, I'm working myself to the bone and I'm a professional and I don't have that wealth and I can't help the people I want to. Well, Gift of Legacy might be the answer that you're looking for, because to date, and next week we're 7 months old, to date, we have shared more than 40 million US dollars across the world to all of the people in our community that are participating. I just think that's incredible. And just let that amount of money sink into your head, because it's not a small amount of money. How we can change the world, it's incredible. So now we are a decentralized community, and I had to find out what that meant as well. And decentralized is awesome. It means there's no company, no institution, no broker or trader. Gift of Legacy is not owned by anybody. There's no boss. There's no central bank account. There is nobody taking commissions or part of the interest at all. Gift of Legacy is simply the website. It's a website that allows people to send their gifts. So it's like the organizer. That's what it is. It's telling us what to do to make sure that everything flows and that the gifts go. That's all it's telling us to do. All you need to join Gift of Legacy is to have a computer or smartphone, an internet connection, and then you need to have WhatsApp or Telegram. That's how most of the people in our community communicate, although some people do prefer emails. And there's nothing better than picking up the phone and phoning somebody and saying, hey, I'd love to send you a gift. So it's peer-to-peer as well. It's from one person to another. As I said, there is no central bank account. You're not putting your money into the hands of anybody else. You are sending a gift directly to another person. It says there, gifts get paid directly to you. And I'm going to change that, because we don't pay gifts. We send gifts. They're unconditional. I get so excited about sending gifts, and Gift of Legacy allows me to do that all the time. There is no third party that is controlling any money. And it's really important that you need to know that Gift of Legacy is peer-to-peer. Please don't allow other people to get involved in you sending a gift. There are no tokens on the platform, and so you are 100% risk-free. Now, perpetual is a word that I love. As a therapist, I talk about perception, but I also talk about perpetual. Perpetual means infinite, ongoing. It's something that we all look at and we all need to be aware of in our lives. Things that we do on an ongoing basis, something that is repetitive and non-stop. And before I carry on, I just want to emphasize that when you see graphics and images from Gift of Legacy, you'll often see a Ferris wheel. The reason for that Ferris wheel is that Gift of Legacy is like going on a Ferris wheel ride. I like the Ferris wheel. It's the only ride I'll go on in a theme park. And we've got a beautiful theme park here in Johannesburg, just near to my home. They've got this huge, big Ferris wheel. So when you get on there, you sometimes get on and the wheel might turn and you go all the way around. And sometimes it might stop as the other carriages fill up. And you might sit for a while at the top or halfway down. And once it's spun round and round, you might have to get off. Or if you choose to carry on, you just buy another ticket and you go for a ride. And that's why we use it as an analogy to show you what Gift of Legacy is about. It is something that carries on over and over for generations to come. So what is Gift of Legacy? It is more than just a gifting activity. We help each other to grow and succeed. We support each other and we uplift one another. The friendships and the connections that I've made in Gift of Legacy almost outweigh the financial gifts that I have received, because it is the togetherness of this community. It is the heart of this community that kept us meeting throughout last year, even before we launched. And it's the people who reach out to you when you're feeling down on a day, or somebody just picks up a call or sends you a message. It's those connections. We're not a platform. We're a community. We're a family. So when you join us, you send a gift from your heart and you share it with love. It's unconditional. So there's no refund on the gift that you send. You guide your team, and I don't like the word team. I call it my crowd, my family, my tribe, my gang, my people. So you guide your people. You become the legend, and then you build your legacy. So Gift of Legacy is definitely more than just a gifting activity. We are a community with the same vision, and we want to change lives. And Tim's going to explain to you exactly how we do it, because he's the best man for the job.
That was fantastic. Well done. Thank you very much. I love your perspectives and your interpretation of what we have here in our hands. So Adele's taken you through very much about the why. I'm going to take you through some of the how and the what we actually do. So Adele also mentioned that I fired my boss quite a few years ago now, and that was after I had been already building part-time businesses. So you need cash flow. You can't just get rid of your boss without having money in. And in the time I've been working online for 6 years, I've come across multiple different business opportunities or investments, be it in cryptocurrencies or outside of that, online. And at the time that I was presented with the gifting economy about 1.5 years ago, or probably just over 1.5 years ago, I had just been wiped out. A business partner had walked off, it was in advertising, and he'd walked off with the money. He's actually never been seen since. So I had to start again. So if you're coming to this from a very skeptical perspective, you're thinking, yeah, but I've heard of these online things before, and you lose money, or you've lost money personally, you know somebody else who has, you're in a very good place, because I share that pain with you. However, I don't talk about that as a loss. That was just very expensive education. And there's a couple of golden nuggets, and Adele's touched on them already, that when I looked at this, I thought, aha, this model solves that problem that I've had online before. And I call those golden nuggets, and I'll refer to a few of them as we're talking through here now. But let's get on and talk about some numbers, because in the end, the first and primary reason why you're here is to find out, is it worthwhile financially, my effort, my time, my name, my credibility in actually doing this? So we're going to have a look at some numbers as we go through. So the structure we're going to follow is we're going to follow the yellow circle of you through the different boards. There's 2 requirements from everybody. The first is $100. That's it, $100, once off, never again. No monthly fees, etc. Adele's covered that already. The second is share this with people. Yes, you need to speak to people. If you do not want to speak to people, that's fine, keep your job. But there's a requirement in any organization around the world. Even Adele has to speak to people. She needs more clientele. She needs to market. She needs to speak to people. She wants referrals. Doesn't matter what business you're in. You've got a hair salon. You need to speak to people. You need those people to speak to people. It is just a way of life. So let's not get caught up on, oh, but I need to speak to people. Here's the great thing. It's only 2. You only need to bring 2 on. Once you see the value, it's very easy. You've got some numbers on the screen there. I'm not going to touch on them for now. I've been around for long enough to have been presented with outrageous sums of money that you can earn this too, and blah, 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 blah. But you realize only the people at the very top ever sniff at those big numbers. So I'm not going to touch on them now. I'm going to show you how those numbers are available for everybody. And yes, you as well. Let's get started. $100 is your entry, which you're going to give to a position or a person called a legend. I'll show you that. So one and only time you ever take money from your pocket. Peer-to-peer, golden nugget. That's the second golden nugget. The first one is $100 once off, never again. So that's your financial risk if you want to have a look at it from that way. The second is peer-to-peer, person to person. Adele's been through that already. We do this by sending money internationally in multiple ways. I'm a crypto guy, so I love doing cryptocurrencies. But if you are not that, fine. You can learn about that. We've got a whole academy and education in order to teach you some new skills, which is what Adele alluded to, the fact that there's education as well on that. You can use airtime, PayPal, WorldRemit, Revolut. There's multiple ways that you can now move money around the world fairly cost effectively. So a couple of things about the money. The first of all is that we use the US dollar. At this stage, it is still deemed as the world currency. So wherever you are in the world, you pretty much have an understanding between your currency and a dollar, what the value is. And when you send a gift around the world, it is always at that value. So in South Africa, it's about 17 to 1 now. So it's 1,700 Rand would be $100. So in South Africa, if I'm sending $100 to another South African, it's going to be the exchange rate of that day. And I'm also going to ensure that I, as the sender, cover all transfer fees. So it's just like if you are given a present. The present comes wrapped in wrapping paper. You giving the present also cover the cost of the wrapping paper. You don't give the gift and say, yeah, but I need $10 back for the wrapping paper, please. No. When you will receive a gift, you're also going to want to receive $100, not 94, because the cost of transfer gets covered by the gifter or the person sending the gift. So there's a couple of things there for you, but let's crack on. This is what a board looks like. There's 4 boards that we're going to go through. The first is a bronze board. It's a $100 board. To get entry to this, you're going to register. Very simple, because there's no funds on the platform. There's no requirements for proof of address or proof of ID, anything like that. You create a username, email, and cell phone number, and boom, off you go. The system will introduce you to the legend. I'll explain that to you just now. When you leave this board, you get $800. So I'm a business guy, so from a businessman's perspective, and Adele said it isn't a business. It's not network marketing, it's not multi-level marketing, it sort of sits in its own unique category. It's very clever actually, which is why it might take you a little bit of time, or if it does take you some time to understand how the flow of the money works, that's fine. I didn't get it at the beginning, but when I got it, I went, wow. Okay, here we go. Board 1, you join as a gifter. So when you register, somebody has introduced you. And please go back to the person who invited you here tonight and thank them, because they respect and believe in you enough that you could become a part of this community. So you're going to register, you join the board. As you join the board introduces you to the legend. You can see their email and cell phone number. You get hold of the legend and you say, hi, my name is Tim. I'm new on your bronze board and I've got $100 to gift you. How would you like to receive it? The legend comes back and says, wow, thank you. That's amazing. I see from your cell phone number, you're in a different country. I'm in South Africa. I'm happy to receive it in cryptocurrencies, PayPal, or airtime. As a legend, you want to have a variety of options to make it easy for gifters to send money to you. Why only have one? And then they find it difficult. So, well, I don't know cryptocurrency. It scares me. I haven't learned about it. And suddenly you're just left with, no, you want to make it easy for the person to actually send you money. They want to give you a gift. So all the computer's done is provide the contact information between the gifter and the legend. You then gift the legend, and once the legend's received the funds, you get accepted onto the board. There are 8 gifter positions, 4 on the left and 4 on the right. Each person coming in gifts $100. Now, there's a few things that are going to start happening. The first is, if one side of the board completes, let's say the 4 gifters come in on the legend, come in on the left-hand side, and this is only an example, it probably won't work exactly like this, but understand the concept for now. Once that happens, the board can then split, giving the person who is in this example, the guide, see there's one guide in the middle there on the left, the one on the right, the opportunity to go to the top of their own board. So it doesn't get held up just because the other side is going a bit slowly. But over time, these people are going to come in as well. So the legend is gifted $800 in unconditional gifts. How powerful is that? Once that happens, the board splits, it cycles. You can see that you've now moved from the gifter position to the builder position. What happens now? Well, this is where you introduce your two people. Now, it's very unlikely the two people who are going to join you are the first two people you speak to. That's very, very unlikely going to happen, because you want to bring in like-minded people who are going to duplicate the system that you are busy learning. Your duty is then to help them understand the system that you're learning. A rinse and repeat. That's all it is. No need to reinvent the wheel, create a system within a system within a system because you know more, because you're clever and you're an accountant and you've worked out how to hack it and crack it. No. Not necessary. If you want to do that, go create your own gifting economy. There's a specific reason why this one works as the setup that we've got here is. So you're the builder, and you're now going to invite and bring on your first friend, A, and your second one, B. You've brought your two in. Fantastic. You can bring in many more, but that's just the minimum. The other people are also going to come in. The builders are going to do their role and bring in their two, so that then the legend has got 8 gifts, $800. This board is complete. It's finished. It's done. Off it goes. And the two guides move up to legend. You as a builder move up to guide, and you can see that your friend A and B move over to builder just as you did. What happens now? You're a guide. Your responsibility as a guide is to teach your builders what you've just learned to do. Very simple. We've got all the training and education. You don't need to think about it. Don't need to create it. Done that work for you already. Absolutely fantastic. So A brings in their friend. There's a C. And then D comes in. And then your B friend brings in E and F. Fantastic. This is where it starts getting really exciting. You've completed your board, your side, perhaps before the right-hand side is finished. But you're not going to be held and have to wait for them, because now you have the opportunity to become a legend on your own. The split happens at this point. The board is not finished. This legend is still going to remain. However, you can move on to your own board, and you'll now notice that your friend A and B move to the guide positions either side of you. Their people they brought in, C and D, now form as the builder on the left, and E and F as the builder on the right. Because you follow each other. It's called a lineage. So the people you bring in, the people they bring in, the people they bring in, follow each other through the system. Not only this one board, but all the other boards as well. So to build a strong lineage just pushes you up. Sometimes people say, well, how long does this take? Well, when I did this for the first time, it took me 4 days. See, I built a lineage. I understand how that works. 4 days, no problem. Now, it's unlikely, or it's possible you can do it in 1 day. I've heard people do it in a few hours. If you've got a team and you've got people ready and off you go, it can be done as quickly as you can register people and send gifts. Absolutely easy. But typically it can take a couple of weeks, a month, but there's no time limit. The more you do, the quicker you work, the more effective it is for you and the team and everybody around and the community as a whole. So what happens now? Well, you can sit back a little bit, although typically I don't, because I want to motivate my guides and builders, and we've got a wonderful chat system online on the board where you can all talk to each other. It's quite exciting and build up some hype to get these gifts coming in, because each of these gifts are coming to you as the legend. You've now got $800. How does it get even better than that? But it does, and I'll show you just now. So what happens next is your original board has now split. You have the opportunity to go to the perpetual cycle system. It's not a perpetual board, it's a perpetual cycle. Remember that ongoing income, that figure 8 that Adele spoke about with the wheel, the Ferris wheel. So now what will happen is your position is now going to, you're on the board already, but you're then going to get a new position on the same board to help it move quicker. You're going to fill a spot on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side, to help them move quicker. And there has been boards where it cycled even again and somebody else has come on to help that board complete too. So that's one of the very clever algorithms that are in place that make gift of legacy unique in the gifting economy. Here's a couple of things that happen next. You've been gifted $800, but it's not all your money. You're the champion, the guardian of some of that money. If you just take it and off you go and spend it, well, how are you going to progress? How are you going to help the community? How are you going to help others and gift them just as you have been gifted? The rest of the money for going through the cycles comes from gifts that you have received. So you're going to look after some of it. If you take all $800 and off you go and you say, thank you, I'm done, you create a recession. It's what the world is going through at the moment, although America decided to go and change the definition of a recession at the beginning of being in a recession just to avoid saying they're in a recession, but that's another discussion. The reality is money stops flowing, economies get into trouble. We keep our economy flowing, it's a gifting economy, by gifting on. So you're going to move to the $400 board, which is the following board. So of the $800, you take $400 to gift to somebody else on the next board. That gives you access. And $100 you're going to keep aside to get yourself onto a perpetual position, onto another $100 board, so you can do that cycle again, that Ferris wheel that Adele described so well. You keep $300 in your pocket. At this point, I joined. I said, I'm in. Don't have to show me anything else. I didn't understand how it worked entirely, but I knew that if I could work a system where I put $100 in once, and over a very short period of time, I can get $300 out, that gives me a 200% return, I would rather do this than risky trading in cryptocurrencies. Or putting my money on another platform which promises a 10% return per week or a 2% return per day or whatever it may be. That's all risky. I'm giving somebody else my money. Here, $200 I get to keep. I thought, no, that's magical, because if I can get $200, I can get 2,000. If I get 2,000, I can get 20,000. The limitation is controlled by me and the 6 inches between my ears. This is where it gets exciting now, because when you're on the perpetual board, so you start at the bottom again, no pyramid scheme here. Okay, you can see that for yourself. When you're on the top, you receive the gifts, you go to the bottom, and you give somebody else the chance to get to receive theirs. Very much like the birthday packages that Adele was talking about. Somebody else's turn. It's not your birthday 365 days a year. But this time around, because you're already on the second board, you're only gifting $100 back into the perpetual system on the first board, meaning you keep $700 every single time you cycle off a legend position on a $100 board, over and over and over again. What's more exciting, to keep $300 or $700? I hope you said $700. That's why you put $100 back into the system. Now you're onto the silver board, $400. I'm going to go through this quickly now because it's the same procedure. You join as a gifter, and once all 8 gifters come in, or a full side comes in, the same system is the board cycles till you're legend. When you're legend, you're now going to receive 8 by $400. It's $3,200. You're then going to hold back. Now you're learning how to budget. You realize that this money starts getting rather large, which is where I urge you to learn about cryptocurrencies, not only for this when you get to the bigger boards, because you are going to need it. So the reality is you're in digital currency anyway. Just you need to learn some new skills. It's going to be a pretty important one that helps you move money around the world so easily, quickly, and cost effectively. Anyway, I sidetrack back onto here. $1,600 you're going to hold back to gift somebody else. And as Adele said, she gifted somebody recently in Venezuela. Never met them before, didn't know. Probably had to use Google Translate in order to speak to each other and communicate. Wow, it's actually so exciting. And then $400 to get back onto the perpetual board. So you're now on 3 boards. $100 position, perpetual position, $100 board, $400 board, and a new $1,600 board. And in this time, $1,200 you keep in your pocket. How is that for changing your life? Does that help plug a hole? Does that make it a little bit easier and more breathable to get through the day? No? Okay, you're hard drivers here. Okay, let's have a look. Well, what about $2,800, which is what you get every time you cycle off the $400 board? Exactly the same system, because you're on the following board already. You're only gifting $400 back into to get onto perpetually onto the next $400 board. Magical. $1,600 entry. Now the numbers start getting really exciting. And if you still think that this is not enough, well, wow, okay, you got bigger dreams than me. That's amazing. Works exactly the same system, but this time it's only $5,000 that you're going to gift on. And you think only $5,000? When I first looked at this, I thought $5,000 in rands, that's 80,000 rand. That's about what is it, about 6 times the average income in South Africa. $80,000 is a lot of money only to hold back to give to somebody else. Wow, I'll tell you a very quick story in a moment. $5,000 to get yourself onto the final platinum board, and $1,600 gets yourself onto the perpetual position on your gold board. You're keeping $6,200 in your pocket. Now, at this point, you're going to struggle to sleep because you have gift of legacy insomnia. That's what it's called. Previously, up until this point, you haven't been able to sleep because you've been lying awake, worried about how you're going to cover the bills, how you're going to pay for this, how you're going to get money together for your kids' university fees, Adele, next year when he says, right, I'm going to go and study something. Right? Yeah, she's nodding her head. Exactly. He's in final year school. You've got to start thinking about these things. Maybe not next year, but it's still going to be the following year. Where does it come from? Now you're lying awake at night going, wow, how can I spend this money? Amazing. Perpetually, it's even more exciting, $11,200. So here's a question for you. If I could show you a system that you could simply duplicate and follow with a little work where you're applying maybe 3 or 4 hours a week, that's all it could take at the beginning, in order to generate an additional $11,200 in your pocket by Christmas, would that interest you? You decide. If it's not enough, do a little bit more work and have a look what happens on the $5,000 board. See, $5,000 times 8 is $40,000. When you receive $40,000, you've now completed the cycle. That's round one. $5,000 you're going to put aside to get yourself back onto the perpetual board. By now, you know how to budget, you know how to move your money around, you know how to save it in one wallet in another, about cryptocurrencies, about PayPal, airtime, all of these different factors. You understand exactly how you are a leader. You've helped a lot of other people come through here. And the more that you've done, the quicker it's pushed you through. You're keeping $35,000 in your pocket. The first time I sent $5,000 to somebody, it was so exciting. It was invigorating that I would be in a position to gift somebody. I happen to know the person, which made it even more special. But I could gift somebody $5,000 to help them uplift their lives. I did it with sheer pleasure and glee. My wife came to me and said, but how can you give somebody else $5,000? I want some of that. That's a lot of money. And I said, but if I gift somebody $5,000, I know it's only a matter of time before somebody's going to be gifting me multiples of that. So I'm more than happy to. That is the power of giving and then receiving. Perpetually, you're going to get $35,000. There's no more further boards. So each time it's $5,000. And now by this time, you've got used to the bigger numbers. Remember, I showed you there was bigger numbers, but I wasn't going to talk about them till the end. You've got used to understanding because your mind has been able to grow. You've matured and grown into these bigger economies. This is where people who win the lottery, and didn't somebody in America win something like $1.1 billion a week ago, or something ridiculous like that? I mean, you could take that money into South Africa and buy Eskom, our electricity provider here, and solve all of our problems. But how quickly is his mind not going to be able to handle that amount of money? So it takes time. If you do not grow as a person, as you're receiving these funds, very quickly, your money would shrink back to the level of your education. It's a rule of the world. This is a screenshot that I recommend you to take. Take a picture of, get your phone out, take a picture. I'm going to leave you there. Take a picture. Has everybody taken a picture? Why? Because you're going to print this. You're going to stick it on the ceiling above your bed. Every night before you go to sleep, you're going to stare at that. You're going to visualize those boards ticking over and what you need to do tomorrow to do that. The first thing you do when you wake up, you open your eyes, you see this again. Put little neon lights around it, flash it when you wake up. What do I need to do today to move up into the next board? Start dreaming, start lifting your mind. Summary of gifts, here's the big numbers. $42,700 after you've been through the first cycle and $49,700. But I'm going to share a secret. It's more than that. You can't quantify it actually because the boards don't all cycle together. So as you're on your platinum board, your $100 or $400 board could be cycling quicker. So there's going to be money coming in on a consistent basis throughout. You don't know when it's coming. It depends on the speed of how everything's done, on your lineage, the work you've done. You wanted to work quicker, help two more people join in on the $100 board. So that's actually an understatement, but it gives you an example of what is possible. I'm going to hand you back over to Adele. She's going to take you through a little bit of some of the rules and regulations, a bit of the nuts and bolts, and I'll come back and chat to you just now.
Awesome, Tim. Thanks so much. Yeah, folks, if you see all of those Ferris wheels spinning at the same time, you certainly aren't going to sleep. So if you're wondering what to do between 1 and 2 in the morning, send messages and invite your two. So activity guidelines, you are going to go on your first cycle, as Tim explained, and you simply join by gifting $100 unconditionally to the legend when you register. You invite two like-minded and like-hearted people to journey with you. And it's really important that you find the right people, because you can invite people who are not going to catch the vision like you do. So just think carefully before you invite them. And then you help them to do the same. And then when you're on your perpetual cycle, once you've completed your first cycle, you will be auto-joined onto the next board on the higher level. So when you finish your bronze, you're automatically joined by the system, by our algorithm, onto the silver board. Once you have gifted the legend there and you are confirmed, you will then be auto-joined onto your bronze perpetual cycle. It's not a perpetual board. We don't have different boards. We only have 4 boards. And that's the beauty of Gift of Legacy, because on the perpetual cycle, you get to meet people who are on their first cycle, or they're on the board for the 3rd, 4th time. Just like on the Ferris wheel, you might be riding it for the first time, and some little boy has been dragging his mommy through that Ferris wheel for about 8 rides before you. Okay, when you join a board, you need to immediately go to the board chat, say hi to the legend. Hi, I'm on your board. Get their number, send them a message, send them an email, pick up the phone and phone them, and gift them. Gift them immediately. Yes, there's guidelines for time, but do it immediately. When I gifted that lady in Venezuela the other night, and I was actually doing it for the person in my group who needed to gift her, I did it within 5 minutes. She hadn't even received the message from my friend yet. I'd already gifted her. It was done and sorted. And the joy she got out of it far outweighs the frustration of trying to get hold of somebody. Your perpetual positions ensure the integrity and sustainability of Gift of Legacy. Everything that has been created by our core leaders and our developers is always done to protect the community. They are our custodians. Trust them and follow their guidelines. These are the guidelines we are always referring to. It's important to note that if you get to a legend position on your initial bronze board, you will receive all 8 gifts. But if you have not invited your 2 invitees, you will not be allowed to progress. Something called sidelining comes into effect, and you won't progress onto your silver board or onto your bronze perpetual cycle until you have invited somebody. So don't wait. Get it done early, share your invite link, and allow other people to color their worlds as well. So why Gift of Legacy? What makes us unique from other gifting communities? Well, we're almost 7 months down the line. And the doubters and the naysayers, they've been silenced because Gift of Legacy is standing strong. We are user-friendly. It's really easy to log into your profile. It's unique to you. You will use your own unique email address, and everything you need to succeed is at your fingertips. There's information on the academy, and everything you need to manage your board is right there. And yes, you can use your desktop, but I only use my desktop for presentations. My Gift of Legacy is right here on my phone. It's a fail-safe system. Board splitting is there to ensure that nobody gets left behind. And we put out a graphic today that was designed to explain the Ohana principle. Throughout the launch, as we prepared for the launch last year, the leaders kept saying Ohana. It's the Hawaiian word for nobody gets left behind. And it didn't just mean we're going to not forget you when we launch. But the Ohana principle is the heart of GL. Nobody gets left behind. And now it has been coded into our algorithm that with board splitting, nobody gets left behind. When one side of the hemisphere splits off, and if they're moving fast and they move quickly, they will come back in and move the slow moving wheel. So if you think of a theme park and there's one Ferris wheel that's going quite quickly and another one that's going slowly, it doesn't matter. The conductor is going to make sure that people go onto the slower board and they enjoy that ride too. So our algorithm is innovative, it's groundbreaking. We have got the most amazing developers who are making sure that exciting changes are always there. And then I want to talk about cross-pollination. It doesn't get mentioned too much in presentations, and I want to just stop and pause right now. What is cross-pollination? Cross-pollination is the most important part of Gift of Legacy, because without it, it would get dry and boring. We would all keep seeing the same people on our boards all the time, and lots of people contact support and they say, I want to see my friends, I want to see my people. Well, the way that I see it is whichever board I am on, that is my team, my group, my people at that moment in time, because the algorithm knows where I need to be and I need to work with those people. And when I'm meeting people from other countries and I'm speaking to them, they're following the guidelines they will gift me. But if I'm just on the same board with my family and my friends, I'm going to cut favors here and there, and I'll say, okay, well, I'll gift you now and you gift me later, and it cancels it out. That doesn't work for me because I'm not going to get a gift. Then we're just talking. And we're not here to just talk. We're here to uplift ourselves and to uplift our community. So cross-pollination is so important. I'm a nature lover. And if we don't have bees, the flowers are going to die. And if the flowers die, then all life in our beautiful nature is going to fall apart. So we need the cross-pollinators. We need people to go onto the boards where they need to be. And the algorithm knows best. So just trust it. We are a global community. Our community comprises of people from different countries and cultures, and we all speak in different ways. And sometimes you might get a message from somebody in a language you don't understand. Tim spoke about it just now. Just use Google Translate, speak to them, and be understanding, because maybe they do think about things differently to you. Just be kind. We've learned that in the last 2 years. Just be kind. Now, you are not limited to just 2 invitees. You have to have 2 invitees in order for you to progress from your initial bronze board, but you can invite more people. And yes, those of you come from a network marketing or MLL background will realize that having a lineage is important. But having more invitees allows you to fill up the boards and move the boards. You will split off. You are not always going to be with your people, but you will meet them along your journey. Just like in a theme park, some people go on the roller coaster, others go to buy candy floss, and others just keep going on that Ferris wheel over and over. You are going to meet them. And then we have amazing community support team. They are all volunteers. They're the most incredible human beings who spend their time answering our questions, and they're always there to answer us. There's a button that you can use if you go to personal information on your profile and you hit the button, you can put a ticket in, or you can just email them to giftoflegacyglobal.com. But please look out for emails and respond to them, because oftentimes we get told that people aren't responding, and that's why they think support are not there for you. We're there for you. Just reach out to us. And then fast tracking and board splitting. Well, this is an amazing feature that has been created by our developers to allow those of you who wish to move faster through the boards. And we'll explain that on the next slide, and there are training videos available. So fast tracking allows you to color your world faster. When you have finished your bronze board, or when you are on your bronze board, as Tim explained, and you receive your first 400 gifts, and you have already invited your 2 invitees, you are now confirmed and verified. You've got your first 4 gifts. At this point, all you do is take that $400 and go straight onto your silver board. Then you are riding your small Ferris wheel, the $100, and what I call the toddler Ferris wheel, the $400. So now you're on two boards. If you've got the cash in hand, you wait an hour, because no one can go on too many rides at the same time. You wait an hour, you then gift onto your gold board, your 1,600 board, and you can start riding that. Now you're on three Ferris wheels. So you're on the baby, the toddler, and the children's wheel. But then you really want to go forward onto the platinum. Again, you wait an hour, you get your gift, and once your gift has been confirmed on gold, you can move on to platinum. You send your gift to the legend on platinum, and you are now riding all four boards. So if you've got the money in hand and the cash available, you can move through the boards and you can be riding all four of those boards quickly. You don't have to. It's an option available to you. But if you follow the guidelines, again, folks, the guidelines are there to show you the best way to do it. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. There's no separate Ferris wheel at the theme park. It stood the test of time. Everybody enjoys it. So just do it the way it's supposed to be done. It's really important that we just make sure that you know right from the beginning that you are not allowed to promote Gift of Legacy on social media. And that's not because we're ashamed of it or it's a secret. It's just we want like-hearted people to join us. There's no filling of spaces. So that means you need to invite people who can duplicate the system the way that you are doing. If you choose to sign up a profile for your children, make sure that you are managing it. I've got a profile for my son and I'm managing it for him. But as soon as I opened his profile, I got the two invitees and I'm working his board just the way that I'm working my board. So don't sign up and people who are not going to do things. Make sure that you are supporting people. And then you don't need to be the messenger. You just have to be the message. And we've got the tools for you to do that. Don't try and explain GL. Send out the videos. Invite people to Zoom calls. Get them to watch live presentations and recordings and let the presenters do the work for you. Different presenters have got different styles. I'm different to all of the others. But maybe you resonate with them. Watch them and then the penny will drop. And then there's extensive training. There are so many videos available, and it's really important that you stay trained. We're a dynamic community. We're always moving and improving. So keep up to date, keep your finger on the pulse, and you'll know exactly what's happening. And it's really important that you participate in your own rescue. It's important to understand that there are no guarantees. The success or failure of any participant will depend on your willingness to participate and to follow the guidelines of Gift of Legacy. It is up to every person to make sure that they are compliant with tax laws in their country. Gift of Legacy is a decentralized platform. There is no third-party affiliation, ownership, or partnership. So please, if people approach you and they say, you know what, we've got this strategy and we've got this plan and we've got discounts, just stop and listen and just think about it and see how you feel about it. We know that there are groups who understand how strategies work, and that's great, but you don't need to reinvent the wheel, folks. $100, 2 people, and you build 2 by 2 by 2, and you follow the guidelines, and that's how you're going to enjoy this road to abundance. Gift of Legacy is 100% peer-to-peer. There are no funds that get paid to the platform, no central bank account. Your gifts are always given to Gift of Legacy participants, and you only send it to the legend when you land on your board. So be careful. We are on social media. If somebody reaches out to you on Telegram and says, hi, I'm Adele, and I've got this board and we just need one more gifter and please come in, you'll be number 8. Folks, it's not me. Okay, I have been cloned on Telegram. People have been sent messages from other leaders. They're not the leaders. If you look carefully, they might spell my name differently. They will talk in ways that don't actually fit in with the guidelines of Gift of Legacy, rather contact leaders and say to them, hey, are you sending me a strange message? Because 90% of the time, we find out that we have been cloned, and the rest of the time, sometimes people just fooling around.
Amazing stuff. Thank you
Now,
so much. I love your perspectives.
thanks, Tim. If,
Carry
if,
on.
if, if you're wondering how this incredible algorithm and this program is supported, who pays for it? Well, it's not paid for by a company, but we do have a registered non-profit organization called the Gracious Givers Movement, or GGM. And GGM have a Love Heart initiative as well. GGM is the movement or the NPO where donations and gifts are sent, and that is how we fund the maintenance of our beautiful algorithm. It is where the money comes from that pays for the developers, for the monthly fees. And I must just state at this point that the Gracious Givers movement is only there at the moment to fund what we need to keep our system going. It isn't available at the moment to look at any other charities or any other requests for help. GGM is purely there to keep our beautiful algorithm going and keep our system going. The Love Heart position is for Gift of Legacy participants who have successfully invited their two like-hearted invitees. You can then sponsor any cause that is close to your heart, whether it's a church or a soup kitchen, animal welfare, an orphanage, somebody works in your home, someone who needs medical care. You can sponsor a position for them. You send the gift unconditionally, but you don't have to invite the two people. GGM will make sure that those two people are placed under them. So don't look for space fillers. Rather, if you want to reach out to somebody, get yourself sorted first and then get a Love Heart position. And there are the links, and they're available on the website. You'll find them as well.
Definitely, yes. There's in fact two buttons when you log in now where you can click directly to
Yeah,
those two, so you don't even need to record them. Make it super easy. So fantastic.
absolutely.
You can
So
see here from this slide and take a screenshot of this one through the world at the different days and dates and times of the presentations from Afrikaans, Zulu, Asia Pacific, Spanish, German, Finnish, Italian, Portuguese, French, and many more as we expand around the world. So the best thing to do is take a screenshot of that and then find out from the person who invited you for the links for our official Telegram groups. Now, these are the only 3 official ones. I would definitely recommend being on the info only and then the testimonial. On the testimonial, that's where you get the real life stories. What Adele and I are sharing today, I sort of call it like the scripted version. To find the true heart and the true benefits, join the testimonial group, and that's where people in the community can put out what the difference is that it's made. So get back to the person, get those links, join those groups, find out the real story behind Gift of Legacy, get the information, all the Zoom links for the different countries and the different cultures and around the world at their presentations. I must say there's probably 24/7 presentations around the world now, and that's only happened in 7 months. The expansion is absolutely fantastic. So thank you very much, Del. I love your analogies. We're on 9 o'clock on the spot. Your description, I think you're a person who loves going to the fairground by the sounds of it. Now I know why there's Ferris wheels everywhere, and you've taught me some wonderful analogies on that, that if you don't mind, I'm going to borrow from you.
you go for it.
So I think we are done for this evening. Thank you all very much. Please get back to the person that invited you. Get your reservation, your referral link. That's the word I was looking for. I've run out of words. I've run out of words for today. I've used my capacity. And join the other Zooms Thursday evening for another live presentation from two other amazing people where you can hear their perspective on the same story. Listen to this again. The recordings are on YouTube and they are then sent out typically a day or two later as well. But it's the same story, and let us help you to grow. So Adele, been a privilege. Congratulations. Well done. You did a sterling job. Absolutely amazing. I knew you would anyway. That was without question. But it's a pleasure.
Thanks, Tim. Thank you so much. And yes, folks, get back to the person who invited you and let them help you to color your world. Have a good evening, everybody. Good night.
Good night, everybody. Good night.